Good morning, Red Oak Elementary. Wow, what an exciting presentation we have today. Today's presentation happens to be on something that's called self-management. And wow, that's a big word. Put together, self-management. So here it is. Let's break it down. So it's like putting things in order to accomplish short-term goals or things that you want to do maybe today, or maybe the things that you want to do in the future. So there's short-term goals, and then there's these long-term goals. And how do we put these pieces together in order to get things that are accomplished? So here we go. Self-management is really, if you break it down, pretty simple. It's like taking things and putting them in order. In other words, one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking across the floor. Yeah, it's like putting one foot, then the next foot, and then the next foot, or the next step, and the next step, and then you're seeing the progress of things growing. In the culinary arts field, that means cooking, they have what's called mise en place. Now that's a big French word for putting one thing in front of the other, or putting things in order to accomplish a greater goal. And they do this so that all the ingredients are lined up. Everything is put in order to accomplish something. So let's take a cake, for instance. So here we go. How many of you like chocolate cake? How about vanilla cake with chocolate icing? Or how about peanut butter cake? Well, it really doesn't matter. Whatever kind of cake you like, we're going to build a cake today. So some of the ingredients that are necessary to build a cake are flour, sugar, baking soda, and there may be even some other ingredients, like some things that you want to put in, like some flavoring and all these different things. So now what happens is we put these things in order. Now, if you put all that stuff in the bowl and you forget to put the water in, or you didn't include the eggs, all of a sudden, the cake is not going to do anything. You could stir that powder and powder and powder, and you could put that powder in the oven, but it's not going to make a cake. You have to have all of the ingredients in order to get this cake the way that you want it. So now the mise en place, or the self-management, is taking things and putting them in order so that we can reach our goal of building our perfect cake. So here we go. We take the eggs, we take the water, we take a little baking powder, we take maybe a little pinch of salt, and we have our water, and all of our ingredients, and we mix it all together, and we mix it all up, and then all of a sudden we then take it and put it in the oven. But something happens. We come back an hour later, 20 minutes later, whatever the recipe requires to get the cake out of the oven, but we forgot to turn the oven on in order for the cake to cook. Another step that was necessary in order to get us to our end goal. Well, what does this mean for you in school? Well, it means that 1 + 1 = 2. Now, I know that sounds elementary, but if we don't put things in order, and you don't know addition, or you don't learn subtraction, or you don't know, or you don't find out about multiplication, and you don't do your times tables, you won't know how to do some of the bigger projects in life, like algebra or even trigonometry. So what the thing is, while you're in school, while you're learning, we're self-managing and putting small things in place so that we can get the bigger goal. What's the bigger goal? So that you can graduate from elementary school. And then you can go on to middle school or junior high school, and then high school, and then college, and then start a career so that you can be like your parents, so that you can put things in order. So whatever it is that your goal is, even if it's a real small goal, even if it's something tiny, put things in place. If you have to write them down on a piece of paper, write them down. And then what you can do is you can start to see these things come into fruition or come to be. And as they come to be, you'll understand that it is really pretty simple to accomplish bigger things in life by taking your time and self-managing and putting small things in order to get a bigger goal. So there you have it, guys. Hey, listen, I am always excited in having the opportunity to speak into you. I thank your principal, I thank the district, I thank all of your teachers for giving me this opportunity. My name is Ron James, and I am excited for our next guest speaker who is going to talk about self-management. Hey, listen, have an awesome day, and remember one thing, you are amazing.
What's going on, young people? My name is Coach Dom, and I'm super excited to be here. Thank you to the Choices Foundation and Team Choices, Mr. Ron James and Mr. Dwayne Petty. I love these type of opportunities to pour into young people all over the country and just tell you how great you guys are, how important you guys are, and how beautiful it is that y'all the next generation that is going to change the world. I don't know if anybody tells you that, but I'm going to tell you that again. You are the next generation that's going to change the world. I believe that. I need you to internalize that while we talk about this, because the things that I'm going to tell you are things that you can utilize for the rest of your life. And I wish when I was your age, I had somebody tell me this stuff too. Well, a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Coach Dom. I hail from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, a beautiful little city that's blooming, that's beautiful, that I grew up in, my parents grew up in, and my two sons are going to grow up in as well. I love to give back in my community. I think that's really, really important. I hope to one day create a space where these guys can grow up, feel safe, and be able to do the same type of things that I'm doing. And maybe you guys will do the same thing in your own backyards. I'm all about making an impact, and hopefully you guys are too. Well, today we're going to talk about something very important. It's crazy in times like this, especially in 2020, where the whole world is anxious. I don't know about you guys, but I'm very anxious. Do you guys know what that word means? It's basically like when your feelings get all jumbled up inside. It's like a snow globe, and it just shakes your feelings up too much. You don't really know how to feel. Mad, sad, angry, depressed. There's so many things going on at the same time. And all we want to do is go back to school. I don't know about you guys, but all I want to do is go back to school. I love being in school. I love to learn. And that's always been my safe place. When I needed something to eat, I could eat at school. When I needed a place to be creative, I could be creative at school. When I needed to learn something about what's going on in the world around me, I could get that at school. And I hope you guys feel safe at school as well. But in the world we live in, we know that being in school in person is not the safest thing for any of us. Would you guys agree? Well, nonetheless, we have to take advantage of this time and find a way to manage ourselves. So we're going to talk a little bit about self-management skills. Now, throughout this, I want you guys to remember, I don't want to come at how anybody, goes about their day-to-day business. These are just recommendations, if you want to say. Recommendations that you guys can hopefully utilize that will make your days easier, make this learning experience easier. We're almost halfway through the year. So we got to be here for each other, support each other, give each other grace, and make it through together, okay? So, for starters, I want to talk about mindset. I want to talk about how important it is to remember that even if it's a rainy day, you are your biggest advocate. Even if things are going wrong, your iPad dies, the teacher didn't get the assignment that you submitted, it's so important for you to keep a great mindset. Be positive in your approach. If you do that, that is going to be the first step to success. To be honest with you, life is about trials and tribulations. It's about good things happen to us and bad things happening to us. And that's things that we can't control, regardless. But what I can tell you is you can always control yourself. I will say that again. You can always control yourself. Can you guys say that one time? You can always control yourself. So, with that being said, being optimistic and being positive with your approach, knowing that positivity is a choice, and the true happiness depends on those qualities in the quality of your thoughts. So, if you're thinking about how your dreams can come true, if you're thinking about the things that you're learning in school and how they apply to your everyday life, that is important. When I wake up in the morning, I make sure the first thing I do is I go to brush my teeth, use the bathroom if I have to, change my clothes, get myself mentally prepared, maybe play some nice music in the background, eat something, and jump into my day. Not everybody has that luxury, but if you do, you can't just jump into class fresh out of bed and thinking that everything's going to be okay. Oh my goodness. But if you at least give yourself a fighting chance, it might work out in your favor. Now, granted, if you do not get that opportunity to do that every single day, it's cool. We can make up for that. Sometimes I really think, was 2020 supposed to happen like this? Weren't we supposed to be in school already? Why aren't we in school? When other kids might be in school, when other people get to hang out and do whatever they're doing, some people have businesses open. Why is all this stuff happening at the same time? Well, I'm going to tell you this. Like I said, I like to stay positive in my approach in everyday life. I cannot waste time on things that I cannot control. All I can do is control myself and my mindset. So at some point, you have to let go of what you thought should happen and live in what's happening right now. We only have 2 months left in 2020. What are we going to do with it? One of my favorite artists, musicians, one of the greats in my eyes, his name is J. Cole. He says, we ain't picture perfect, but we're worth the picture still. When people want to, go to a photo shoot, everybody wants to be having their best outfit on. They want to look the coolest. They want to color coordinate. They want to do all these cool things. And if the picture doesn't come out great, was it worth it? Well, I'm going to tell you this. I think it's worth it regardless. I think it's worth it regardless because the effort is there, the beauty is there, and we are going to be able to triumph through this regardless. It's not supposed to be perfect. Life isn't perfect. And I think the times right now has exposed us to what it's really going to be like in the future. People leaning on people and being innovative in what we do in everyday life. Who would have thought last year around this time that we would be going to school at home? Who would have thought that? I wouldn't have thought that. But now that we are, we got to make the best of it. Who would have thought 4 months ago we would still be going to school online? Well, guess what? Since we are, let's make the best of it. I'm sorry, guys, but like I told you, I'm a football coach. So I get competitive and I never want to lose. I don't know about you, but I hate losing. But what I will do is push my team no matter what. Doesn't matter if we're down by 3 touchdowns. We are going to finish the game strong no matter what. Can I tell you guys a quick story? A few weeks ago, we had a game against a pretty tough team. I coach mainly 8th and 7th graders in middle school. We actually got called up to play in the 9th grade game. A lot of my kids were so excited because they always felt like they were good enough to play on the 9th grade team. I never wanted to tell them they weren't, but sometimes if you're not prepared for opportunity, it's going to be really difficult to be successful. Nonetheless, we got them pumped up, we got them prepared, they knew the plays, and when we got out there, we realized the team was a lot bigger than us, and they were a lot faster than us. The first quarter, we were down 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. We ended that game with 4 touchdowns. And they didn't score anymore because we finished strong. I don't know about how everyone else's school is set up, but at the school that I work at, we just finished like our first marking period. I tell all my students and student athletes that it doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish. What are you guys going to do to be able to either maintain the positive things that you've done to keep your grades or keep your, momentum? And what are you guys going to be able to capitalize on if you haven't done the right things? So again, we're going to talk about self-management. Real leaders manage themselves, whether that be personal accountability, flexibility, resiliency, goal achievement. These are things that you guys can accomplish with self-management. So, self-management are things like managing your time to make sure you can get things done throughout the day. One of my pet peeves throughout my day is when one of my students tells me, hey, mister, I forgot to complete an assignment because, I didn't have enough time. I had to wash the dishes or I had to take out the trash. When time management is all about setting your priorities in an order where it fits you and you get everything accomplished in a timely manner. That's really important. Second on that list is minimizing disruptions. You have to minimize those disruptions because if the TV is on, if you're playing a video game, are you really paying attention to what the teacher is saying? Hey, even if your screen's off, we want to be here to support you guys. So why can't we get the same respect? Of course, this sucks. We would love to be with you in person, but we care about you enough to make sure that we keep each other safe. So we're going to stay distant, but we also will push each other to have the best learning experience for the rest of the year. Learning is everything. If you are not educated in what you want to accomplish in life, it might be a little difficult to do what you want to do. Let that be a basketball player, a judge, a lawyer, a doctor. Let it be anything. You have to be educated in your approach. Also, clarify what's important. When I say that, that's basically meaning ask questions. You can't make an excuse like, well, miss, I didn't understand the assignment. Well, why didn't you ask questions? Well, I didn't know where to submit it. Why didn't you just ask questions? Well, Zoom's not working and I don't know what to do. Well, we have to effectively communicate, have self-control, and manage our emotions in a manner where that communication doesn't have to wait till later. It can happen right now. We can make sure everybody's in tune. We can push each other to be great. We can all be successful. So, no matter what you do, remember, self-management is important. And self-management comes one small step at a time. One very small step at a time. It's a never-ending process because there's always room to improve. So, I think I might have said this in the beginning, but I'm a football coach. I'm a teacher. I'm a podcaster. I'm just a creator and a writer. I do a bunch of things and I love to get opportunities to have fun and just be creative with my friends. I think that's a pretty cool thing to do, especially when we're doing it all the time with our families as well in mind. But that's the kicker. You have to have a healthy balance between everything that you do. So that's why self-management is important for me. If I can do it, I'm pretty sure you guys can do it too. So, with that being said, one of the main things that holds people back from self-management, and this is one thing that used to hold me back the most, was organization. If you're not organized in what you're trying to accomplish, it gets a little messy, literally. You have to pre-plan and prioritize maybe write some notes down, and that might help you out. If that's not your thing, maybe even type them on your iPad, setting some alarms to let you know when you should be waking up on time, when your breaks are in school, when your classes are. That might be able to be something that you could utilize to be successful this year. On top of that, thinking carefully about how to improve your work. So one of my pet peeves as well is when a student tells me, well, mister, I got a C or a B, but why not shoot for the stars? Why not get that A? Why not take that home and show your parents what you mean to this world? I think they would be very, very proud of you because legacy is important. If they see that you are the best student in that class by putting your most effort and trying your hardest, I'm pretty sure they really appreciate that a lot more than, well, mister, I got a B or a C. And I know you're better than that. I know all you guys can push yourselves to get the best grades for the rest of this year. You think you guys can do that? Well, I hope so. Parents at home, thank you for allowing Team Choices to pour into your students today. Seriously, it means the most to us to be able to pour into young people and really tell them how great they are, how important they are, and how pivotal they are to changes that we will see in the future. Me being a father, me being a husband, I really believe that the next generation is what's going to save us from the anxiety that we're dealing with in the world today. And today we talked a lot about self-management skills. I broke up about 4 different categories that hopefully these skills that we taught some of your students today are things that you can mimic at home with them, practice with them, and make sure that they're aware of to help them be successful for the rest of the school year. So here's the first one: breathing and relaxation. I'm a big fan of being mindful, taking my time when I need it, and knowing when it's time for me to rest. Because I feel like being a football coach, being a teacher, being a dad, being a husband, I'm always on the move, and I need time to just rest. Kids don't think like that. I could be tripping, but I'm pretty sure kids don't think like that. They'll take the time when they finally need it, but if we show them that, hey, you should really be mindful of when you need a break, I bet you that's something that they're not really too used to. That's something that even some adults are not too used to. The second part is emotional awareness and stress reducing activities. Coloring outside of the iPad or drawing outside of the iPad. Taking breaks from technology and just taking a walk around the block. I mean, I get it that the world is in a very messy place right now, but we still have to be able to be outside, be one with nature, and take our time when we need it. The third one is self-motivation. Self-motivation is kind of vague, but it's super important because your student should want to be the best student they could possibly be. That starts with you, mom and dad. That starts with us telling our student how important it is that education is pivotal for them to be successful in today's world. Not every student may go to college. Most parents probably want their kid to go to college, but realistically, they can be successful in so many different avenues. But it's up to them to want to actually do it. Obviously, we know that if these kids were in person, it would be a totally different ordeal. A lot of our educators were not trained to be able to provide this online experience effectively, and it's new for all of us. We got to be patient with one another. We have to give each other that space when we need it, and that time when we need it, and that grace when we need it. But the number one priority is our students. That's how I work. That's what I live by. These young people know what they need and know what they want, but we got to provide them the tools to be successful and feed their minds with what's necessary to adjust and persevere through all the craziness that's going on today. The last one is physical well-being. We have to find a way to create a positive and intentional relationship with our bodies. Exercise, brushing our teeth, being healthy, even having relationships with food, not eating just because we're stressed out, but making sure that we're eating something in the morning that's effective for us to be successful throughout the day, making sure we're prepared for lunch, making sure we're prepared for dinner. These are things that our young people should probably be learning at home as well, so they're prepared in the future. I mean, I'm a big advocate for home ec, but for now, I mean, we literally have an opportunity to be able to do this for our kids every single day. And I think that's really important. That'll help them be successful as they become adults and to, spread their wings in other avenues. Also, the hardest part about this is to honestly be and practice what we preach. If we want our kids to be self-motivated, we have to be self-motivated. If we want our kids to exercise and get up and move and go to gym class on Zoom, they got to see us exercising and moving and going to gym class in real life. If we want them to have a positive mindset, even though we're stressed, we have to have a positive mindset. They're literally going to mirror every single thing that we do at home. There's no hiding behind that. And I'm the biggest one to say that I live this every single day, and I had to be introspective with my approach. So, with that being said, some of those self-management skills that we talked about with your students had to do with setting goals, making a plan, being patient, and most importantly, staying focused. You can't really stay too focused if you're not organized. You also really can't be, self-motivated if you don't work hard to reach those goals. So some of the tips that I would use to pour into them from working at home would be take time to yourself when you need it. Beware of media overload. Take time away from the screen. You don't jump off your iPad just to watch TV, just to text, we have to take time for ourselves to be human beings with other human beings, especially when it's in our own homes. We're blessed with the time to be able to spend with one another, no matter what's going on outside of us. Use this time wisely, and let's all pour into these young people so they can be the best version of themselves. Also, make a list. Write down what you need on a day-to-day basis. Stay healthy, stay strong, wear a mask, and practice what you preach. Parents, can I also challenge you to take advantage of this time? Really try to capitalize on this time that we have with our kids at home. Work on some of these activities together and build a healthy and normal engagement between you and your students. Try to make it to where learning is a competition. Learning is a normal part of everyday life. Now, granted, I'm in no way, shape, or form am I trying to tell parents what to do or say that you're not doing that at home already. Again, these are just tips and recommendations, and I hope you guys take this and use this kind of stuff if you need it. I'm going to break up some of these skills again into 3 categories, if you may say, 3 different approaches. One are those organizational skills. Make a plan, set goals, identify strategies that will make sure your student has the best learning experience for these last 3 quarters so we can finish strong. Manage your materials. Make sure that you always have a pencil during class. You always have your materials that you're supposed to have for class. By now, we're getting into our 2nd quarter. We should kind of know what to expect. But if you don't know what to expect, ask questions. Also, organize yourself, your apps on your iPad, your thoughts on paper to where you understand them. Kids, you are your biggest advocate and your biggest supporter. You have to be self-motivated and push yourself and be confident that you can do it, because I know you're great. Everybody on Team Choices, we know you're great, and we don't even know you guys personally yet. But I can't wait until they open up the gates and we're back in person. But for now, we're going to use this to our advantage, and we're going to talk a lot more. Other than those organizational skills, parents, push these effective skills, managing your state of mind and making sure that mindset is always positive, is always engaging and deflecting the negative stuff, throwing the negative stuff to the side. If it's a negative thought, if it's negative material, keep that stuff off of the iPads, keep YouTube and random things like that off of it, because there's nothing positive that they're going to gain that's going to help them in the classroom. On top of that, demonstrate perseverance. Make sure that your student is able to problem solve, those analytical thinking skills. On top, make sure that they have a competitive spirit and know that, you know what, when I can do things by myself, that makes me even more resilient. That makes me even a better person. And one day, instead of just being someone's employee, I can be the employer. And I think if we're telling our students that today, that's going to help them boss up. That's going to help them be the leaders that we know they can be. Also, managing your emotions. Taking that time to know what is best for you at this moment. Shoot the teacher a little chat. Hey, ma'am, mister, I may need a break for a couple minutes. We're not going to take advantage of that, though. That shouldn't be the first thing that we rely on, but knowing when you need a break, but managing your time. If you take a break from class, you still have work to make up. So let's go back and make sure that we take our due diligence. We don't procrastinate, because no more procrastination, and we get our things done. On top of that, think positively and just spread that mentality throughout the rest of your peers and other parents that you may know as well. And now we're going to get into like reflective skills, developing new strategies and being innovative with this technology. If you know a teacher may be having a hard time and you're a student, you may know how to help. Offer some help. If you know that a classmate is having a difficult time with an assignment, ask a teacher to put you in a breakout room so you can explain it to them. When everyone's going through a hard time and you never know what's going on behind these screens, and it sucks because we would definitely rather be with you in person. But again, we got to keep each other safe, and we know that it's only a matter of time when we can get back together. All we have to do, though, is believe and be prepared for our opportunity to be successful and for the world to be healthy again. I also want to just close by saying that we appreciate every opportunity to be able to pour into these young people. A lot of other countries don't have the liberties and freedoms that we have. A lot of other places aren't even able to just go to school, and people support that. A lot of other places don't have the luxuries to vote who they want to, elect as officials or have educators that are willing to pour into their students every single day. A lot of people do not have these luxuries, so we cannot take them for granted. Our students deserve the best version of us so they can become the best version of themselves. I honestly believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. And let's remember this, guys. Finish strong. Again, this is only the first quarter. We're going to get into the second one. Let's start that strong. Third one, all we got to do is keep up the momentum. And that fourth one is where it matters the most. And in a matter of due time, we'll have exactly what we want out of this world. Abundance, prosperity, and success. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Coach Dom, peace.